Howdy, hi. It is Deer Job Sports College Basketball Picks and Predictions for Thursday, November 20th, 2025. We are looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, first thing we got to do is recap the previous day's results. Another losing day for me. That makes 2 in a row. Yesterday we went 3 and 4. Today we go 2 and 4, and we add someone to the ban list. It was my favorite bet of the day. I do not think I've ever seen a worse shooting performance from a team prior to today who had been one of the most efficient programs in the country. They absolutely destroyed that hope. So, Wyoming, welcome to the ban list. You can take the place right next to Mark Pope, and Kentucky. All right, so I'll recap this real quick. Oh, yeah, also, we added $3 per loss since we had 4 losses. That's $12. Bringing the season total to 144. If you would like to get into that giveaway, it is happening in the Discord. You simply hit the link in the description. It is free. It will always be free. Join. I think the only thing you need is an email and a phone number. Yeah, that'll be it. All right, so recap. First win, we had 2 of them. It was Chattanooga minus 9.5 at South Carolina State. South Carolina State still remains on the banned list. I think they are one of the worst teams in the country. They forever cannot put the ball in the hoop. Chattanooga won this game 78-66. South Carolina State, they shot 29% from the field, 32% from deep. They won the offensive rebound battle 12-8, and they won the turnover battle by 2, while also having this be their home opener, and they still lost by 12. This team just simply cannot shoot the ball. It doesn't matter who they have. They have a bunch of senior transfers and senior returners. None of them can put ball in hoop. Then we had Dayton plus 5.5. This looked like it was going to be a free win. And then they proceeded to choke the game away, go into overtime with Marquette. But they still won, as Marquette only scored 3 points in overtime. Dayton wins 77-71. They shoot 53% from the field, 41% from deep. The only reason it was this close of a game was because Dayton had 25 turnovers. 25 of them. They were just handing them out. Free candy. You get a turnover. You get a turnover. Hey, lady in the 4th row, you want a basketball? Here. Well, bam! Just right in her face. Like, dude, quit turning it over. And they still won, so it didn't really matter. Marquette had 20 turnovers of their own. Marquette's really bad this year. They're not good. The entirety of the Big East is not good. They're going to be like a 3-bid league. It's going to be St. John's, UConn, and probably Georgetown. Marquette's not getting in. Creighton's not getting in. And the rest of that league is awful anyway. So now we get to the losers. First one was Notre Dame, minus 27.5. This looked really bad at the start, and then it got even worse in the second half. Notre Dame has a 7-point halftime lead. Then they allow Bellarmine to score 49 points in the second half. Notre Dame wins by 7. Bellarmine shoots 54% from the field, 82% from the free throw line. They lose the offensive rebound battle. They win the turnover battle somehow. Not the best of looks from Notre Dame. I thought they would get back home after that tough Ohio State loss and take it out on Bellarmine. That was not true. Bellarmine, pretty tight. Next one, Youngstown State. This one, Toledo simply could not miss in this game. They were lights out from the field. They scored 92 points, 54% from the field, 40% from deep. They won the free throw battle 26-12, and Toledo made 22 of them. So you're not going to win many games doing that. Youngstown State, also 22 turnovers, 22 of them, as the Penguins lose by 17. Then you have the one which sent me down a spiral. This was one of the worst beats of the year, I think. Like, on the scoreboard, you're going to see it and be like, oh, this game wasn't, like, too close. They lost by 8 points, yada, yada, yada. Wyoming loses this game, 78-80. Wyoming shot 22% from deep and 41% from the free throw line. Wyoming won the turnover battle and the rebounding battle. They went 9 of 22 from the charity stripe. 9 of 22. You just had to go 17 of 22, and this would have been a tie game. We would have gone to overtime. While also shooting 22% from deep. Both teams combined to go 10 of 43. The pace of this game was crazy. There were a ton of free throws, lots of easy buckets. Wyoming just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Like, how do you go 9 of 22 from the free throw line? There's no one guarding you. It's a free throw. That hurt. That hurt me mentally. Yeah, that is how I go 2-4. Wyoming gets added to the ban list, and we go on to live another day. So we will now get into the picks. All right, game one, it is Southern Indiana going against Incarnate Word. I'm going to take Incarnate Word minus the 7.5. This is the start of MTE season in college basketball, so it's a lot of tournaments at a lot of neutral site venues. This one is the Boardwalk Battle. Tips off 12:30 Eastern in Daytona Beach. Southern Indiana has looked horrible. Incarnate Word looked all right, so I will take Incarnate Word. The Screaming Eagles, they're 1-3 on the year. Their only win was against a Division II school by 17. Their losses were to Butler by 30, Virginia Military Institute at home by 4 points, and South Dakota on the road by 15. They struggle big time with a lot of different things, one of them being defense, the other one being scoring. They shoot at 38% from the field. Now you travel down south. There's a lot of distractions going on at Daytona Beach. There's some fine women walking around, maybe clothed, maybe not. I think they're going to be a little bit perplexed and not put ball in hoop. Incarnate Word, 2-2 on the year. Their 2 wins were over 2 Division II schools by 44 and 39. Their losses against 2 bye schools, it was Colorado State by 34, and then Indiana on the road only by 8. So this is their first real winnable Division I basketball game. They're an old team. They start 5 upperclassmen. 3 of them were on this team last year. They do lack some size down low. So against other big high major teams, that's a problem. Against Southern Indiana, that won't be a problem because they also don't have size in their front court. So not too concerned about that. Give me Incarnate Word, minus 7.5. All right, next game we are going to back Vanderbilt once again. They are laying an absurd number, and I'm going to do it. Give me Vandy minus 36.5. Give me the over 167.5. This is not an MTE. This is a home game where Vanderbilt's going to pay Southern to travel a long way, get paid a bunch of money, get beat by 50, and then go home. Texas Southern, they're 0-4 on the year, and they've been everywhere. They lost to Gonzaga by 55, Texas A&M by 34, Samford by 3, and then Texas State, who is awful, by 10. They do return a decent amount from last year's team. Problem is, they're not very good. They also can't shoot. 41% from the field, 66% from the free throw line. They also play at one of the slowest tempos in the country. They're ranked bottom 20 in overall pace. That is not going to go well against a Vandy team who the only thing they want to do is sprint up and down the court. Vandy's 4-0. They play at the 4th fastest pace in all of D1 basketball. That's how they've been blowing out every single team they've played. In 3 out of their 4 games this year, they've scored 104 points. 104. One of them was a road game at UCF in which they won like 112 to 103. They're going to score a lot. I do not think Texas Southern's going to be able to keep up. Give me Vandy minus the massive number. Give me the over. All right, next game we got. You might recognize that logo on the right. That is Queens. They are on the banned list, and they're laying 6.5 points to a very proud program of UNC Greensboro. Give me UNC Greensboro plus 6.5. This is my favorite bet of the day. That being said, my last 2 favorite bets have both lost, so here we are. UNC Greensboro. Somehow they are 0-4 on the year. They lost to K-State by 29, Elon by 2, NC State by 1 billion, and then Austin Peay by 6. This is a front-runner SoCon program for what seems like a decade. They've been to March Madness multiple times. They're due some wins. They're not 0-4 levels of bad. They do start 2 true freshmen, which I actually don't mind. If you're going to play freshmen, you might as well start them right off the gate so they can get more experience. The more games they play, the better they're going to get. They have a transfer shooting guard from Albany. He's a fifth-year grad senior transfer. This is more of a coaching program bet. There's no way they should be 6.5-point dogs to Queens. Queens, 2-3 on the year. Lost to Winthrop by 7, Nova by 20, Duquesne by 16. Their wins were against a D2 program by only 11 points, mind you. 11-2 against a Division II school. You win by 11 at home. And then Sacred Heart by 17. For all intents and purposes, Sacred Heart's not even a real school. They return a somewhat decent amount of productions from last year's team, but when they play tough competition, they lose. If y'all remember that first game of the season against Winthrop, they were up 5 points with 4.5 minutes left, and they lost by 7. This is the definition of opposite of clutch. No thank you. Give me UNC Greensboro. All right, next game. We have another MTE, kind of, not really for UCF, but more so for Pitt. Give me UCF plus 100 on the money line. This is the Sky Scanners Legends Classic, also in Daytona Beach, but it is not part of that boardwalk battle. Pitt, they've played one good team the entire year, and they got absolutely murdered on the road to West Virginia. UCF has already proven they can win in a big road spot, and they held it pretty tight at home against Vandy. So I like them here. Less travel, should have the home crowd. Pitt's going to be distracted. Why they're a dog, I don't know. Pittsburgh, they're 4-1 on the year, lost to West Virginia by 22, and then they played a bunch of mid-majors at home. They beat from a varying range point of 12 to 34 points. This is the 8th year of head coach Jeff Capel. If they don't have a somewhat solid season, I think he's canned. I mean, his teams always suck. They're soft. They can never score consistently. They're just not good. This team lacks size down low, and they lack size at the guard spot. That's not going to go well against a Big 12 team in what is basically a road game. That is the most physical conference there is in D1 basketball. Good luck. UCF 4-1 on the year. Their only loss at home to Vandy by 12. They beat Hofstra by 4, Oakland by 4, Texas A&M by 12 on the road. They don't return a single guy from last year's team. 100% transfer portal. And it appears to be working. If you can go on the road to Texas A&M and win by 12, I like it. They have a 7'2" center. Pitt does not have anyone in the ballpark near that guy. Their largest dude is 6'10". Good luck stopping the 7'2" guy down low. All right, final game. Then we have my almost bets. This line is simply absurd. South Dakota plus 28.5 on the road at Missouri. They are acting like South Dakota is some bottom-tier MEAC school like Maryland Eastern Shore. South Dakota is a decent program. What is this? I watched a lot of Missouri's previous game at home against Prairie View A&M. The second half of that game, they lost outright. They let Prairie View score 49 points in one half of basketball, and now they're laying 28.5. No thank you. South Dakota 3-2 on the year. There you have 3 in a row. Their only 2 losses were their first 2 games of the year. They lost to Utah Tech at home by 2 on a buzzer beater, and then Creighton by 16 on the road. I would have Creighton better than this Missouri team, and 100% that home atmosphere is better than Missouri game. This is a relatively new team for South Dakota, but they shoot it well. It's just a bunch of tall white dudes, as you would expect from a South Dakota team. 48% from the field. They limit turnovers, just 11 per contest. And they have a true big man down low, 7-foot senior center. He's been with South Dakota his entire career, knows how the program works, so I like that. Missouri, 5-0 on the year. The only team they've played who is relatively decent is Minnesota. Other than that, they've played no one. They're very one-dimensional. Their entire offense is iso ball. They don't really run any set plays. They give the ball to their main guy, Mark Mitchell, a lot, and they tell him to go get a bucket. Have fun going up against that 7-footer down low. I think Missouri wins the game by like 16, 17. 28.5 is absurd. Give me the Coyotes. All right, then my almost bets. Marshall minus 19.5 against UAPB. This number should be larger. Pine Bluff is not good. Marshall, surprisingly, been one of the better mid-majors so far, so I will take them. Next one, Colgate plus 4.5. General rule of thumb is you don't want to back teams off of a game-winning shot at the buzzer. Colgate hit the half quarter to beat, who'd they beat? The Bonnies? Who did they beat? Just beat on the road. We took them. I forget. They beat them at the buzzer. So yeah, I'm not laying 4.5 with Cornell. They're still the Ivy League, and they're still awful. And then finally, Cal Poly plus 12.5 at Utah. Cal Poly's good. Utah is one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. I could see Cal Poly winning this in the money line. They play a style of basketball that's very conducive to big upsets, but also big losses. So this will either be a Utah win by 30, or I think Cal Poly wins it on the money line. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.